Hi guys, it's Brooke with here today for Cocoa Daisy using the Different Places December memory keeping kits. So today I'm making a pen pal package for a new pen pal from the States, and I decided that the envelopes that are in the 12 by 12 memory keeping kit would be perfect for this. So here I'm just trying to choose an address label for the front. I'm simply trimming a 3 by 4 card from the pocket kit. So I'm just trying to choose die cuts. You can see my little bowl there that at the beginning of the month when I get my kits, I always just take all my die cuts and put them all in one place so that I have easy access, and it just makes it easier to get them onto my projects. So I'm just choosing arrows and hot air balloons and random stuff. And then here is the stencil, it's like coffee splatters, coffee cup rings. So I'm just using my Tim Holtz dabber and that brown pigment ink to add a little bit of extra texture to the envelope. And I do the back side as well, just to add that, just to keep the theme going on the back. So then I'll take my heat gun and I'll dry that a little bit just to make sure that it doesn't smudge or anything. It's super simple. And then I start to stamp, so I'm using the stamps from the 12 by 12 kit. And they're perfect for envelopes for pen pals. They say like airmail, and there's lots of kind of postage themed ones. So I'm just using that bright red ink to add to the front and the back. And I think that I am drying it as I go as well, just to speed up the process a little bit because I was making the video. And the ink that I'm using, it is a dye ink, but I just wanted to make sure it didn't smudge all over the place and wreck that envelope because I only had two. So here I am adhering the address envelope to the front, address label, and adding my die cuts and everything, making sure that I'm gluing them on really well because I know it's going to go through the mail. And then now I'm going to get started on the inside of the package. So I'm making a cardstock trifold card, and it's from just the cardstock that came in the 12 by 12 kit. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it, measuring it to make sure it fits in the envelope, and then scoring it pretty randomly, honestly. Just that middle part I measured to make sure it fits in the envelope, and then the other two are going to fold on top because it's kind of a flip book. So I'm just trimming off that end piece. And so I have my trifold card here. I'm going to punch the corners just to round them a little bit. And then I'll use my bone folder to fold the 3 sections. And then I have my little flip book. So then I'm just making sure it fits in the envelope, which it did, but lucky, right? So I'm measuring it now, and I'm going to make an envelope that goes inside so it makes it a flip book. So I'm using paper from like the pattern paper add-on. And I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board, which if you do any kind of snail mailing or pen paling, or even just crafting, you need this tool. It is amazing. So here I'm just making my envelope. You can make it any size. So I'd already previously measured it to make sure that it fit within my flip book. So here I am just scoring and punching the corners. And then I'll be folding it just to make sure that I can get all my edges straight. I use my bone folder. And you can see I'm just making sure that it fits on the inside. And then it's going to be adhered only on one side so that it can flip in and out. Using my adhesive roller just to close the envelope up. And then I lay them side by side, not exactly touching, just a little bit apart. And then I use washi tape to adhere it because it's so thin and flexible. So I'm doing one side here, and then I do the other side as well, just to give it a little bit more stability. And then when I flip it over here, you can see that it folds in perfectly and it fits, and it'll fit in the envelope that way as well. Super, super simple. And you don't need a envelope punch board to be able to do this. You can make an envelope with a template you find online on Pinterest or whatever. Really however you want to do it. And then I'm taking a 4 by 6 card from the pocket keeping kit. And I just trimmed it down so it would fit in that middle part. And then adhering it in the middle there. So now I'm just taking die cuts again. I used a hot air balloon to continue with the theme from the front of the envelope, if you remember. And just using random die cuts to layer on the front there. And then that white arrow I cut from one of the subscriber downloads this month. And I had used the negative on a scrapbooking page, so I kept all the little cutouts, and I've been using them on my projects ever since. Kind of two birds with one stone. Just adding some stickers here and there, adding a little bit more texture and more layering. And I'm taking my pen pal letter that I had previously written and putting it in that little envelope I made before, and just choosing one of the kit stickers to keep that closed. So here you can see on the left I have that beautiful matte paper. It's kind of cut off at the bottom of the video, but I'm simply trimming it to fit on the medium of the 3 flaps and rounding the corners and making it fit on the bottom there, and just doing a little bit of simple embellishing. Then I just took one of those 3x4 cards again, trimming it down, and then because I want the flap to be able to fold over, I'm going to trim it through the middle there and then make sure it's not flush so that it can still bend, so I still have that open fold there. And then I am decorating the back as well. I didn't like how blank it was, so I just wanted to add some of the pattern paper to the back because it is also pretty. Why wouldn't you use it on here? So I picked one that had 2 contrasting kind of sides. I picked the blue and the beige with the words on it. So I've measured the outside so that I'd have the right length, and then I just kind of eyeballed the 3 parts because I knew I would need a little bit of extra room for those folds. So I'm just trimming it, making sure it fits, and then I'll decide which color I want where afterwards. So you can see here I'm a little bit off on that end one, so I just eyeballed it, trimmed a little bit off, and made sure that it fit. I'm just rounding the corners so it matches the cardstock. And then I think in the middle part I take it off and I add some of the same stencils that were on the envelope. Yeah, here we go, those coffee splatters. Same ink dauber. Very simple, just adding a little bit more extra texture to it. And then drying it with my heat tool again because I don't want to smudge it. I'm a messy stamper, so my heat tool is my best friend. And then I'm just adhering it on. I put the light one in the middle and then the 2 blue ones on the end. I just liked the way it looked. I liked the color. So now I'm just choosing which way I want it to go. I wanted the words to line up with the direction that it opens. Just adhering on the end flaps, and then I think that's it for the outside. And then I just kind of fold it all back up, and then I can put it right in the envelope. So it's fairly straightforward. I'm just choosing one of the 3x4 cards from the kit, and I'm adding it to the back of that small envelope I made. You can see me at the bottom choosing one. There's so many pretty ones to choose from, it's hard to just pick one. So I finally decided on the blue and yellow Paris one. I just thought it was pretty, and trimmed it down and adhering it to the back here. And then I add a sticker on the side just to add a little bit of extra something. Then I'm using the alphabets to add a little phrase there. I love in this kit that there's so many papers and cards that have lines and grids and everything on them because it helps the perfectionist in me to have straight alphabets and straight layering. So you can see with the hello there, it's nice to be able to just have like a ready to go template when you put your alphabets on. I'm sure no one else cares about that, but I do. So I'm just folding it all up, making sure it fits, and then just another strip of that really cute washi tape on the front there to stick it together. So the inside of the card is done, just making sure it fits in the envelope. That doesn't usually happen the first try. So then I have that little glassine envelope that came in the kit with some stuff in it, and just picking a few cards here and there that I think she'll like. I like to add a couple goodies to my pen pal packages. So off camera I'm just choosing which ones, and then I'll stick them in the bag and layer that on top of the letter itself. And then that little card with the rainbow arrows on it, I just made a kind of mail tag, I guess it's called, where you just get like them to answer a couple random questions and they send it back to you so you can get to know someone a little bit better. And I'm just adding more alphabets to that glassine envelope, just add a little bit of extra embellishment. And I'm going to stack all 3 of those pieces up and stick it in the envelope. And then once I close the envelope, I am going to start my wax seal, which is something that I really like to add to my Pen Pal packages. Here I'm using bright blue wax, and I got my wax seal kit supplies, whatever, off of eBay, just like a few dollars, and they're really fun to use. So I'm just melting it, and as you can see, I couldn't help embellishing a little bit more while I was melting it, adding another die cut, one-handed of course, and waiting for it to melt because it does take quite a while. So then I'll be pouring it on, working quickly before it hardens, and then adding my seal. And there you go. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this inspired you to make a little bit of Happy Mail, send a special Christmas card, and work with your different places kits. Thanks, guys.